Okay, thank you, Dr. Zakia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening, everybody. I think we have about 27 in this room now, 28, including me. I would love everybody, while I'm sharing my screen, I would love everybody, regardless who you are, students, academics, individual, can you just share with me your background in the chat box? Just share with me because it's very important for me so that I have a basic idea to emphasize on. So kindly share with me what is your background in the chat box. I would appreciate to have some information. So I can see Cikgu Saadah. You are teaching in what subject, Cikgu?
Mathematics.
Mathematics. Great. Right. Anyone else would like to share your background? Are you into engineering? Are you into social sciences? Are you into perhaps communication, miscom? Perhaps you are into economy, administration, and so on, or business background, audiology. Great. Wow. Okay. Oh, is that you, Sharin? Okay. Wow, children book designer. That's great. Great. Okay. So we have a few background with us tonight in this session. So what I'm going to share with you tonight is basically on how to um, okay, it's coming out a little bit lagging here. Okay, so basically how to have creative note taking with Notes app. Again, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Allow me to introduce myself. The name is Harwati and I am currently attached to University Kebangsaan Malaysia. And my area is education. I am into teaching English as a second language. So basically, I'm an English teacher, but I'm teaching teachers at Faculty of Education. So those who are from UKM, hello. Okay. So anyone from Faculty of Education? No, none. Yeah. Okay. Right. So I'm going to share with you how to be creative in terms of note taking using Notes apps. Um, and of course, before doing that, I would appreciate if everyone can just oh, Nita from Faculty of Education. Great. Okay, so I would love to share with everyone on some samples of notes that I have produced using Notes apps. So here we go. All right. Bear with me. It's a bit lagging here. Okay, oh, my screen has ended. Right. So I have to reshare. Okay, let me show you some of the notes, okay, or projects. Okay, lagging. Okay, here, as you can see here, these are examples of notes that I have in my iPad. I'm using iPad currently, but regardless of either you're using iPad or if you're using iPhone, Notes apps is actually a single app that is in the either iPad or iPhone. You can just install if you don't have it yet. Okay, but I'm going to show you now one example of project that I'm working with. Okay, if you are a student, perhaps you are working for your final project. If you are either an academic, you may also have your own projects or whatever program you are dealing with. So now I have with me is an example of a design and develop project whereby I develop mobile online learning platform to learn English for the workplace. So I'm going to show you some of the notes that I have done using Notes apps. So you can see that I have, of course, images, and then I've put some of the headings such as objective. I do have movie, video, and I have a little bit of information about my project. Either it's a project summary, and then I have a little bit of data or information that need to be inserted in my notes. So it is in a form of graph where I can just scribbles on the graph, And I do, as I'm reading, as I'm doing my research, I do look into information as well. So I have a sort of a source of references. So I've put all the links in my notes. And then, as you can see also, I have some documents scanned and inserted in OneNote. And here, what I'm going to show you, I do have some checklists, whereby by using notes, you can just prepare the checklist and check every time you have completed one task. Or in this project, it is rather referred as phases. So after I have completed one phase, I will just check to show that I have completed the task. And also in the notes, I have put some schedules and I have tables, definitely. And of course, because it is a project, sometimes as I doing other things and ideas come to my mind, so I just need to sketch and to scribble. So I have some scribbles on how I plan the app should like. So here I have with me some of the interfaces that I have planned. So this is one example of project, and of course, if you are from engineering background, maybe I can show you if you have like your final project. If you are from engineering background, so I have here the one shared by Dr. Jufriza on Bauxite. So again, just to show you an example that we have checklists in the notes, images. Okay, we have of course words, and we have some link to websites, as well as some scribbles again on the notes. So you can see sort of different types of different types of media. Thank you, Dr. Zakia. Okay, different types of media or text being used in one note. Okay, and apart from that, that is if I were to use the example of projects. But I mean, maybe apart from that, as a student or an academic, in fact, I myself, I do jot down some notes. If I listen to talk, if I listen to lecture, if I watch anything such as YouTube and everything, I need to jot down some of the notes that I have listened to. So this is an example of notes that I have come up with using notes. So as you can see, I have this on learning styles, and as compared to reading from textbooks or any other reading materials, sometimes I read journals, and I converted that into a more visual graphic and mind mapping, so that it's easier for me to understand, because I myself is a very visual person, and also because I am a very kinesthetic person, kinesthetic learners, and I move around and jot down and sketch and scribbles and so on. So these are examples, and also yeah, well, you have your own hobbies. So I have hobbies of designing well, fashions. So is this sort of trying to polish my skills. So I have sort of my own what do you call, hobbies aside. No, well, anyone from fashion design? Okay, no, none. Right, good. Okay, so how to come up with this? There are a few things that okay. So I've shown you some of example of notes. Perhaps you can share with me on the chat, in the chat box. How do you feel seeing the notes? Either you have done it before, either on your iPhone, either on your iPad. So share with me in the chat box. Meanwhile, we do have some hands, so that everybody can start using your notes for sketching and creative note taking. Okay, so with Notes app, so this is the icon for Notes app. So it is downloadable. If you don't have it, you can just go to your Apple Store and find Notes and download. Okay, so I hope everyone is following. I'm going to show you a very quick tour on Notes app. So if you have your Notes apps, let's do this together. And if you don't have it, it's okay. Don't worry. You can just listen first. And after this, if you own the device or any Apple device, you can just try out you can do by leveraging this Notes app technology. Okay, so now wait, yeah, all right. So let me show you. Open the notes app, so you'll be having this interface. You'll be having the folders. This is how we arrange our notes. So you can see mine, there are a lot of folders because I have been using this quite very frequently, because I find notes is very friendly, user friendly, and I think it is great enough for me to jot down notes and my daily activities. So on my right is my right side. There are the notes in a form of grids. So you can see that all these are the notes that I have done. If you don't have it yet, yours will be maybe quite empty or blank. So all these are mine. All these are my notes. Okay, and as you can see here on top, on the right side, there is a pen symbol. So if you were to tap on that, beside the three dots, yeah, right. So if you were to tap on that, so you can see new blank, blank notes for you to start working with. So you can see the icons on top. The one with the tick is for checklist. And then you can see the camera is for you to either add photos or insert photos, the one that you want to impromptu snap a photo and then insert in the notes. And then here is your drawing tools. Okay, for you to annotate the tools. And then the three dots is where you have more what do you call, features. And this is all blank notes. But if you feel that sometimes, like I myself, I am not confident with blank notes, I do feel like I need some lines or grids. What good about notes is that you can have the line or grid. So you just tap on the three dots, and then there are options, either lines or grids. So when you tap on either line or grids, the options will be available. So you can choose either to use line or grid for handwriting in this note. If you were to use your pencil, of course, if you want to scribble, if you want to jot down, you need Apple Pencil or any stylus that is compatible to iPad. If you were to talk about iPhone, it's a different story. Yeah. Okay. Right. So that's about it. A very quick tour on notes. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to go one by one. So here, what I'm going to focus on first is on lecture notes. Okay, so how to go about doing lecture notes. Okay, so here I'm going to focus first, because as you can see from the examples, if you could remember, there are two types of examples that I have shown. One is either on final project or project you are working with, either your thesis or either your dissertation or your final year project. And another one is either on lecture notes. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to show first is on how to do note taking during lecture using Notes app. Let's say if you are like me, I am a very kinesthetic learner and a kinesthetic person, and also at the same time, and I am a very visual person. So I'm going to show you how to create and format a new note. Yeah. So here, right, type out first. You can just type out. Okay. So this is the title. Okay. If you were to type out, you can type out first, and then later, if you need subheadings, okay, you can make use of your keyboard or keypad for you to type in the headings. So where do we find that is when here, okay, you have to go to this letters, the okay, the capital letters A and then the small letter A. All right, then you just tap on that, so you can see the features. Either you want to have title, or you want to have heading, or you want to have subheading, or you want to have body, or up to you. So let's say if I were to add one heading, because I already have the learning styles as a title. So let's say if I want to add heading, so maybe I can just Yeah, and then yeah, I will start typing. So audio, okay, right? So and then I want a normal body, right? It is already there, set as body. So those with sorry, those audio learning styles, blah blah blah. Okay, but because it is in lecture hall, let's say if as you are listening to lecture, you may want to use your Apple Pencil so that you can just scribble fastly to catch up with whatever you are listening. So if you think that you want to scribble, what you can do is that you can just tap on the pencil icon on top. Okay, so you just tap on that, and then you can start scribble. Okay, let's say talk about learning styles. Then we have, and then you can play around with the colors. As you can see, the tools, the one with the A, okay, all right, is when you want to change your handwriting to uh, type style of word. So, for example, let's say if I were to tap on A, and let's say I were to just write learning, so it will be converted into words, yeah. It's a bit lagging, but all right. So if not, you can just use the pencil and continue jotting down or scribble with your notes. Like for example, learning styles, there are three, yeah, audio. Okay, so you can just have visuals, and then let's say kinesthetic. And apart from this, you can also draw. Let's say visuals, we talk about those who see. So let's say glasses, and then sorry, visuals. Sorry. Okay, visuals here. Wearing glasses, for example, referring to eyes, and then audio, perhaps the referring to ears, and then kinesthetic, those who cannot sit down properly and need to do something, right? So you can just draw hands to represent if you are a visual learner or a visual person like me. So if you feel like rather than having your notes taken word by word as you are listening to lecture, you may also have your notes in a form of brainstorming or form of sketches, if you need to sketch your idea. Okay, so this is one example. Okay, but let's say if you feel like adding checklists. Let's say if you were to have, okay, let's see, sorry, let me just go to, okay, so here we have had sketches. Okay, all right, and then here is an example of a sketch that done based on learning styles. Let's say just now I've listened to lecture notes talking about learning styles. So we have a few different learners, type of learners. So as I'm listening to lecture, so I've taken these notes. Okay, right, so and don't worry, all these notes can be converted into PDF or images for you to keep. Either you want to share with your friends or you want to keep as for your own reference later. So let's say if I were to draw a shape, so you have to press a little bit longer for it to turn into the shape. Okay, I have to slow it down. All right, so it's either you want to have a rectangle or you want to have circles. Okay, in fact, love shape, so all can be converted and can be recognized. Okay, so but not many shapes. I think it's either a rectangle, circle, love shapes, or arrows. Yeah, lines, and also arrows. Sorry, soft line. Yeah. Ah, yes. So these are among the shapes that can be recognized if you were to use notes while drawing. Okay, sometimes if you need to draw very fast and you let's say it's either you want to have like the one that I mentioned just now, if you were to have grids, fine, you can have grids and it's much easier for you to. Okay, so you can either draw, you have grid lines, yeah. Okay. Okay, the fact that you have to draw without lifting up your pencil, and then you have to just press for a while until it turns into shape. Okay, all right. So, or if you feel like you are not confident, if it involves something, a line that is longer, so what you can do is you can just use the ruler tools. Okay, so let's me just show you the ruler tools. I hope you are seeing the screen because the screen that I have on my MacBook is very slow. Are you seeing the ruler now, Dr.
I see
Zalkia?
your screen. And I know.
So once you press on the ruler, so you can start using the ruler. Use both of your fingers, okay, if it involves a longer lines. So maybe you are not confident to just drag one long lines, you can use the ruler. And then I think this is very good when it comes to measuring as well. Those who are learning geometry, if you want to use a ruler for you to just measure or to have lines with the same measurement, you can use ruler. Okay, like for example, let's say I have my ruler here. Okay, so what I need to do, I just put on wherever I want and just draw one line. So it's going to be a one straight line, so you don't have to worry. Okay, you can just move around your ruler using your two fingers, like this, okay, like this or like this. I hope you can see my fingers showing. Okay, so you can just move around and you don't have to be afraid because the ruler comes with the measurement, so with the degree. So you can just, if it is 90%, that means the line is straight, and then you can just turn your ruler. Okay, again, lines, and then you can just finish up everything if you were to. Perhaps sometimes I don't use ruler because I don't really use rulers for basic shapes, because as I mentioned, some of the shapes are recognized by Notes app. So most of the time I just draw manually, and then like for example like this, and then I just leave it for a while and it turn into uh, the exact shapes, right? So I can just draw a circle, right? And also oval. So you can also recognize oval, right? Like that. Okay, so and if you feel like you want to use different colors to it is not like the drawing tools in Keynote whereby we have colors and you can color, because it is more of sketching. So again, it depends on your own creativity whether you want to just use the pencil, but of course you can change the thickness. Okay, you can just change the thickness and choose one color, and you can just start coloring your object. Or one I used to use is I usually use is the highlighter, and the fact that I just want the colors to be light in my notes. I don't want it to be too dominant. I want to see all the handwriting, so I use highlight most of the time. So for example, let's say I choose highlight and I change the color to blue, so I just color like this, or perhaps like this. Yeah, so I don't really use pencil to color. Again, it depends on your own creativity, it depends on your preference. How do you want your notes to be like? So in a way, what great about notes is that you can just sketch, you can just take notes effortlessly. Meaning that it's just as simple as sit down and do whatever note taking, and then it is very smooth without you a struggle of, let's say, if you were to draw and everything. Okay, this is a simple notes. Let's say as you're listening, you want to take notes, and so on and so forth. You want to change into visuals. But now, if let's say if you want to have something that is more complicated, like for example, the project. Remember the project that I have shown on the development of mobile apps. So I'm going to show it again. This is not to say complicated, but something that is very rather comprehensive. A comprehensive notes that I need to have for me to get updated with works that. Okay, so here when it comes to something that is more comprehensive, you need to manage a project, or perhaps your final year project. You insert everything in your notes. Like for example, you have your title, of course. In my notes here, I have an image that I have drawn. This is an image, so how to insert this image? Okay, for example, let's say if you want to insert an image, you can just tap on the camera. Okay, tap on the camera, and then it's either you a photo gallery. So what I'm going to do is I just choose a photo. You can either take a photo, up to you. What I like about Note is that it is very something that you can just do whenever you feel like doing, or whenever you have the idea. It doesn't stop you, or it doesn't constrain you in terms of time or place. You can just do your work anytime and anywhere. Because you know, when it comes to idea, you never know when the idea comes. So that's what I like about using Notes. Okay, let's say if I were to insert one image. Okay, I can just choose an image. Let's say the one that I have here. So for example, I'm going to insert the same image. All right, so I'm going to the image, and as you can see, this image is blank, and I want to write something on this image. Okay, so I just tap, and you can use your pencil to script on the image as the one that I have on iSpeak. So this one has been drawn earlier. So what I do is I just take pencils, and then I just write on the screen. Okay, so I mind my handwriting. So right, okay, and there you go. You have your image there, and you can scribble on the image, and if you need to have arrows or anything, you can just do that on that image. And of course, as I mentioned just now, when you want to add subheadings, you can just use okay, you can just tap on your keyboard, and then you can just use this feature. Like for example, if you want to add objective, so you can have objective. And if you feel like changing this, you just tap here and change into either, because it is body, so it is small. So I want to change it into let's say headings. Okay, so it is bigger now because that is formatted as heading. Right, so you can have that. Okay, so you can just write something, anything about this project. Okay, this project, let's say, aims to blah blah blah. So you can just carry on, and then if you feel like stopping there, you can just stop there, because it is going to be automatically saved. Okay, so now I have also a video here. Same goes to the image. Still the same concept. If you want to add a video, you can just tap on the camera, and then take photos or videos, or choose photo or video. So I don't take any photo or video now. I don't want to take any photo or video now. So I just choose a video that I have on my iPad. So let's say if I were to use one video, let me just choose one video. Okay, let's say just tap on this video. So now I have a video here, so I can just play the video.
Assalamualaikum
Okay,
and good afternoon.
so this is the video.
From
You can
this
see
class, teaching
it's
of
moving,
writing,
right?
I have learned a lot
It's
of
playing,
valuable
kan, Dr. Zakia?
lessons. I have learned
Yes, it's playing.
deeper about
Okay,
the
so you can see
approaches to
the video
writing
embedded
and
in the
also
note. So that
assessments
is what I
involved
like
in
about
writings and many more.
notes,
All
because you
this
can have like different
lesson
types
and
of
knowledge that
media
I've
on
gained
one
from this
project.
class is
Okay,
really
so you
helpful
can just stop
because it
there, and then you can add more on and on and on. And like for example, you have an image, if you were to find image from the website, I hope I can show this using split screen. Okay, let's say if you were to find an image on website, okay, just need to, you can work on multiple screen. All right, that is working or not. I have inserted. Let's say I have a graph here. I have taken this graph from my other files, my other notes. So I just tap my finger and then drag it into, when I use split screen, I just tap my finger onto the image and then just drag into the notes that I'm working on. So as you can see here, this image, I can just jot down on this image. So I can scribble, let's say, because I want to develop an online learning for learning English for the workplace. So what I want to focus on, as I can see from the graph, I think reading is not an issue perhaps. So what I can analyze is that, okay, so I just put a tick, reading is okay. So I don't need to focus on reading. But however, I can see areas that need concentration. Like for example here, the listening. Okay, so I need to look into listening, writing, and speaking. So I can just scribble on image. Okay, and then you can also add websites link in your notes. So you can just drag, if you were to work split screen, drag the link and just drag the website page and drag into your notes, and it will automatically come out as a web link. So you can just drag as many as you want, as like what I'm doing here. I have a few. So you can see these are all the websites that I have been looking at while doing my project. So I just drag, when I work multiple screen, split screen, I just drag the web into my notes. So I have it there in my notes for easy reference. So every time the website. Okay. On notes also, what good about notes is that you can just scan a document. Let's say if you have something that is not online but you want to put it as a reference in your project because it is very important. So what you can do, you can just scan a document. So how to scan a document? So if you were to see the three dots on top, all right, the camera, the camera icon. So you can just tap on the scan document. Okay, right. Oops, sorry. Let's say I have one document. All right.
Okay.
Do you see how to say it with your voice?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
right?
We are
Okay.
we cannot see you.
Notes. You do. Okay, so I have taken I have scanned the document just now. Sorry, in my notes it is already there. So how to say it with your voice? I have just scanned that using scan from notes feature, and you can see it is very clear, as if like you are scanning a real document, right? It's from this book. Is from this book, as if like it is like a PDF image from somewhere. So it is very clear. That's what I like about notes, and you can just compile everything in one project. And just to show you this feature, which I like, the one that I mentioned on to-do list. As you can see here, I have the phases listed, and then every time I have completed one, I just put a tick, or I just tap on the tick. So it's very easy. Let's say you have phases for you to add in. So you just tap on this checklist icon, the what do you call, the tick icon, and then you can see the bullet coming out. So let's say the first stage is analyze, and then you can add the next stage is design, and then you can add the next stage is develop, and then implement, for example, and then the next stage is evaluate. So every time, if let's say I have completed one task, I can just tap on the bullet. So then it shows there that I have done that. If I have done design, I just tap on that design. I have done develop and implement. Let's say if I were to change this, that means one more phase that is not completed, which is evaluate. So it's much easier for us to monitor and manage our project, especially when it comes to our final year project or our assignments. If we were to have like this to do list for the checklist. Okay, so again, what I like about notes is that I can also use these features. Let's say if I want to look for more information, um, talking about let's say I want to look more information on AD design. For example, so I just tap on this, and can you see the lookup, Dr. Zakia?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So you can use the lookup button, and the if you are connected to the internet, it will take you to some of the suggested website for you to look for more information. So either you can use the suggested one, or you can just tap on search web, and you can carry on searching for more information. And every time you feel that you are not sure, you can just use the lookup feature. Okay, research approach. So you can use lookup features. So you can just find, and then it will take you to suggested website. So you can. Okay, move on. Right. Now I would like to show you how to insert in tables, because as you can see in my examples, I have tables. Like for example, I want to add in schedules. So it's either you can actually just open your numbers in your iPad or iPhone, and then you can just for iPad, working on split screen is on iPad. So you can just drag from numbers to notes, and it will be there. Or you can just do insert tables from scratch. Like for example, okay, let's say you have it. Okay, this one is actually drag from numbers. Okay, so what you can do is that you just drag from numbers, or you can just use here. It is on the keypad or keyboard. You can just tap on this table icon, and then tap, and then you can just add in the table. Like for example, the first one is number, the next one is description. Okay, and then if you need to add more, yeah, insert, right. Oops, sorry. Okay, add column. Okay, so you can add let's say month. Okay, but if you feel like you are not satisfied with the arrangement of column, you can just tap on which column, and then you can just tap it a bit longer, and then you can just move on anywhere you want to. So it's very easy, very user friendly. You can just move around using your fingers, and just tap on the column or the table, and then you can just move it around. So that's what I like. Like let's say for example, let's say I don't want the month column here. I want it to be after face or after description. So I just move it to at the end lah, on the right side of the table. So you can see, you can just move around. It's very easy. Okay, so here, and then if you were to add drawing or storyboard, as for now, you can just add at the bottom, because I have done a lot of typing on top, inserting links and everything. And let's say in the end, I want to have like my own sketch of ideas. I want to annotate and I want to draw something. So I can just tap on the drawing tools, and I can just start drawing. For example, yeah, because I have the drawing here. Let me just show you. So let's just move. Okay, so just pencil, and then maybe you want to add more, or you want to, sorry, there is highlighter. So let's say, okay, this is something that is thicker. So if you want to change to thinner, so you can just change and say something here. Right, so you can just play around with your for your project. All right, and okay, so let me show more. Okay, working on the split screen just now, and this is another example of sketches that you can do on notes. This is on equilibrium, done by Dr. Jeffrizal. Let's say if you, because when it comes to things that is very fundamental, like concept, theories. Sometimes it's quite difficult for us to just listen to something. So as you are sketching, maybe you want to visualize as well. So this is what Dr. Juve has done on equilibriums in static. So you can see words, you can see drawings, and of course you can add on images as well. Okay, so this is example that I've done just now on the ice pick. You, as you can see, Dr. Juf is very confident without the lines, but as compared to me myself, I would prefer to have either lines or the grid, so it's easier for me. I think it's more what do you call nice and look nicer in terms of my handwriting. Okay. All right, and I have shown you how to insert web links. I want to show you how to do split screen. I hope you can see this, Dr. Zakia, my keynote on split screen. This is what I'm saying just now, the
Yes.
split screen. Okay, so actually, as you are listening, the fact that either you listen to lecture in a lecture hall, or perhaps you are listening to lecture using Zoom. But sometimes when our lecturers or ourselves, when we want to look for information, maybe we may ended up watching YouTube. Okay, so as we are listening or watching to YouTube, you can also work side by side using split screen like this, as you can see from my screen, working side by side with YouTube as well as notes. So how to do this? I have prepared a video because every time you want to try, we kick out. Okay, let's see. All right, let me play this. Where's the video? Okay. Oops. Oops. All right. It's not playing. Okay. It's not playing lah. Okay, tak apalah macam ni je. Okay,
It's not playing.
it's not playing. How about now? Is it playing now?
No. Okay.
Hmm.
The video is playing. The
Okay.
video of YouTube.
Yes,
Okay.
there is no voice actually because I just screen record, so without voice. But the YouTube will voice after this.
Okay, so now we can see the
Only through
split
technology
screen.
do today's students interact, but they are mobile in terms of the jobs they will have and the homes they will live in. It is therefore important to think about how you can equip this generation with not just content but resilience in a changing world. Number 3, they're global. Today's generation of students are truly global and are the most likely generation to work in multiple countries. They're the most globally connected and influenced generation in history and are not limited to the local, but are global as never before. Number 4, they're digital. We've called the emerging generation Gen Alpha,
So
but
actually,
we
as you
also
are
call them
listening to
Generation
YouTube,
Glass
you may also
because it is not just pen and paper, but iPads and screens on which they will learn, which are designed to not just display the written, but the visual. While today's students need literacy, they also need digital skills to thrive in this changing world. Number 5, they're visual. In an era of information overload, messages have increasingly become image-based and signs, logos and brands communicate across the language barriers with colour.
So that is one example. Either you have split screen or you want to have the YouTube to be floating on top of your notes. So this is another examples. Just now, if you were to work on split screen, so you can use that method. Or if you want your YouTube to be floating on top of your notes, so this is another method.
And the practice and application through homework. However, in the 21st century, content can now be accessed through technology anywhere at any time, and often in very visual and engaging forms. Thus, we have the flipping of education, where the learning takes place outside the classroom, but the essential engagement and practice is still conducted at school by the all-important facilitator rather than the teacher. Number 2, they're mobile. Not only through technology do today's students interact, but they are mobile in terms of the jobs they will have and the homes they will live in. It is therefore important to think about how you can with this generation.
Okay, that is another examples that can be used when you work side by side, but this is basically on iPad. One is either you use the split screen, the one that I have shown previously, or you want to have the YouTube floating on top of your notes. It's easier for you to move around as you are taking notes. If you want to write on the right side, so you can just move aside your YouTube, as because it's floating, you can move anywhere you want. Okay, and uh, uh, what great about Notes app is that there are so many other things that can be done on Notes, other than sketching, other than inserting different types of multimedias, and also images, and handwriting, and wordings and everything. Other thing that it can be done with Notes is that it can turn your handwriting into text. I have shown it just now, and how to turn into text. Perhaps I can just show it again. See, if you are working with new notes, okay, let's say if you want to have, rather than handwriting, if you are not confident with your handwriting, you think that you are a very neat person, you think that you want something that is very neat rather than your handwriting, so you can just choose the tools, the pencil with the A letter, so tap on that, and then you can just write, learning, it will turn into words. Learning styles. Okay. Visual and I can, sorry. All right. Yeah. Let me just undo that. Okay. Learning styles. Right. So here's number 1. Okay. What are they? Number 2. Okay. You can continue writing because it can change your handwriting to text. Yeah. All right. Okay, so other than that, it can also help to turn voice into text. Like for example, let's say you don't feel like writing, or perhaps your hands, you're very sick, you don't feel like writing. You can just come into class and then turn on the voice recognition feature, and then it will turn voice into. I hope it will be working. I'm going to pray whether it works or not. Okay, let's say I'm listening to a lecture. So let me just turn. It is this feature, yeah, this icon. As you can see, the voice recognition icon. So if I were to tap, good morning. So right. So those with hearing impairment, they have problems of taking notes because lectures are usually very fast, and they have difficulties in listening to lecture. So what you can do is that those with hearing impairment, you can use this voice recognition feature to help you to detect the lectures that you are listening to. So because it can turn into um, text, yeah, that's what I like about notes. It's very helpful in a way. So other than that, of course, after you have done everything, you want to share your work with your friend. Either you want to collaborate, you can do that. If you can collaborate your work with your friend, and of course, if you feel like sharing, let's say the one that we have visualized, we have drawn, we have sketches. Maybe there are a lot of people or students out there who are actually into images, into visuals, and they find that your notes is very helpful. Of course, you want to share with your friends, and that can be also converted into PDF, saved as PDF. So let's say these learning styles, okay, if I were to share this with my friend, okay, let's say either I share my notes. Share notes is when you want to collaborate your note with someone else, or you can just send a copy. So let's copy, and perhaps your friends, they don't have any Apple devices, so what you can do is you can either save image, so you can just tap on save image, or you can just to a PDF file. So save file, and then you just save into pages. So this is to be shared with with friends lah. So if it is visual one, you can just save as image, no problem. As you can see here, if I were to save in image, so it will be saved in my photo gallery. So if I were to share, or if I were to just post into my social media platform for the rest of my friends, or perhaps for other people out there to also learn at the same time using the one that I have visualized, so I can just share the photo. Okay, the image, right? Let me just look at the image. So I have the image here in my photo gallery. So that's what great about notes. It can be shared in other form as well, not just those from Apple to Apple. It can also be shared with other people who are not into using Apple technology as well. Okay, so okay, this is how we share our notes just now. You can either share notes, or you can either send a copy. Again, share notes is for you to collaborate. Send a copy is if you want to share it with other friends in a form of either PDF or in a form of image. Yeah. Okay. Right. So this is how it look like if it is in a form of image. Okay. And I think this one is very. I think it's cool because uh, um, whenever you have something that is very confidential, you can actually lock your notes either using password or face detector. It depends on the type of device that you have. How updated the device, Apple device that you have. Like for this is very confidential only for me, in case anyone found it and they're going to took my idea, they're going to take my idea and then they're going to sell it somewhere else. I think this is very confidential, so I want to lock the one that I have. So you just tap on the three dots and then you can just tap on the lock button. Okay, tap on the lock button and then you can either use password or any face recognition features that you have, as again depending on what type of Apple device do you own. Okay, how updated your device is. Okay. um well, again, of course, some of you may be wondering, is it just notes? Because you have been doing with other notes, other apps as well. If you own an Apple device, either iPad or either iPhone, maybe you think that notes is not that interesting. Okay, but of course, as for me, I think notes is good enough. I have done so many things with notes. Name it sketching, drawing, annotating, doing projects using my notes. And if you were to venture into other apps, of course, there are other apps, but the one that I'm going to recommend, other than Notes app, is Notability. Because Notability, I found it very interesting. Yes, of course, it has to be paid, but don't worry, it's just one off. So you have to pay 37 ringgit 90 cent one off, and then you can be used for lifetime. So this is one examples that I have done. Basically, it is almost the same as Notes, but in a way, Notability offer more features as compared to Notes. But if you don't want to spend money, version, a Notes app is already great and good enough for you to use. Name it, either you are a student, or you are an academic, or you are a business person out there. You should be leveraging and utilizing Notes apps into creative note taking, as well as managing your project and your daily activity. That's great, isn't it? Okay, so